All right, have you guys heard about Miranda Sings, aka Kalyne Ballinger? This is kind of a weird topic for me because I know these people, so this is going to be a little weird.
Spill the fucking beans, Steve.
Okay, so this is one of those crazy things, right? So when you know somebody, you don't necessarily know everything about them, obviously. That's what everyone says about serial killers. And like everyone who's a neighbor, like O.J. Simpson's neighbor is like, he was the nicest fucking guy in the universe. You know what I mean?
But I mean, like, how would they know? They probably just went like this, like 3 times, and all of a sudden they're the nicest guy in the neighborhood.
Exactly. You don't know anybody.
You don't fucking know.
So when I knew Kalyne Ballinger, she was doing the Miranda Sings character, and
where did you meet her? Like make her?
I met her in 2013, I think, or 20. I think I met her in 2011. Just in the tuber space, like everyone sees everyone at the same places and shit.
I need more context. Beyond just meeting her, how close did you get with them?
I was very close with her husband. And then I knew her and her husband, and we hung out a bunch. And
so outside of work, you guys hung out?
Yeah, quite a bit.
You guys been into each other's houses?
Yeah. Is she still with her husband? No.
That's part of all this, too.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole thing.
So you guys were friends?
We were friends,
beyond work?
Yeah. And I met her husband. Her husband used to work at one of the big MCNs. Yeah. And he was just a normal dude. And then he became tuberfied, like, with her. And then as she grew, like, they both started to kind of change. And it was, like, very strange to
So he was off camera working at an MCN?
Yes.
And then so he became on?
On camera.
Oh.
Yes. And then he started changing. He's acknowledged this. He's very emotionally intelligent. He's, like, is aware of, like, what he went through and shit.
Yeah.
But this story's kind of crazy because, so right now she's being accused of grooming kids, okay?
Whoa.
Which is a crazy accusation and allegation to
her? She was like the Mr. Rogers of, like, YouTube.
What was her content?
Version.
Her content was, like, doing a theater kid, like, parody, basically, named Miranda. And she's, like, this person who, like, seems like she has some kind of disability or something, and she's, talks funny, and she is very literal about things. And it was very like you can tell she's trying to do a character, right? So she's trying to like make fun of someone that she knew or a group of people that she knew and satirize like a topic.
Wait, with the lipstick?
Lipstick.
Oh, her lipstick was all over the place?
All over the place.
And her hair's all crazy?
Yeah, and she's like, I'm hot, and like, boys love me.
I've seen her before.
Yes.
But I think her audience was a lot of girls, right?
A lot of young girls.
A lot of 10-year-old, whatever.
And when she was coming up, she started off doing like these parody songs, but like it was purposefully bad. But then people were not quite sure if it was actually bad or not because she was playing the character a little more like it's like she turned into Pee Wee Herman later, but she was playing it a little more straight initially, and so people were genuinely confused online. Is this a real person?
Landing in the gray zone with
exactly.
it. Yeah.
And then like later on, as it like grew and grew and grew, she turned it more into more of a literal character where she was like more outlandish and shit. But apparently, so as she's amassing this audience, right, and I saw this happen, like she had like no subscribers when I met her, and she was coming up, and then she like starts exploding on the scene, and then apparently during all of this, in the behind the scenes, she has a group of kids in a group called the Weenies, which is like a private chat on one of the messaging apps. And those are like a bunch of little kids, basically, like at the time, like 14, 13, 12, like all ages of, but not above 18, it seems. And in those chats, she's saying like inappropriate things to them, like asking them about their favorite sexual positions. Like one of the kids in there, she sent underwear to.
Like in the mail?
Yeah.
In the mail.
I hope it was new.
And when it was new, and that's the thing, when I say that, it immediately elicits a response from all of us. Very natural response. The context is a little bit different because she was like, they had just gone to like a store, bought a bunch of shit. They thought it was funny, they bought underwear, and they thought in the video, they thought it'd be funny to send this person underwear, right? And to us,
sexy underwear?
Whatever, that's fucking weird.
Right. Yeah.
Right? But yeah, sexy underwear, yeah.
Oh, it's sexy underwear?
Sexy underwear, yeah.
I think it's just funny if it was like Ninja Turtle underwear or something.
Not bad. Wish you were around back then.
Yep.
Could have been the little angel on the shoulder. Could have helped.
It would have been great at this business.
So she also So there's a kid named Adam McIntyre who's come out about this situation. He was in that weenies group that I'm talking about, and apparently, like, as she, like, you know, she was with her husband, and the big thing about her and her husband was that she would talk shit on her husband, like, constantly.
To the kids?
To everybody.
Well, was that a joke or was that real?
It was real. It was the real shit ever.
She's just venting about...
Venting about her husband, like, being embarrassing. She's humiliated by him at all times. Like, just talking the most shit I've ever heard a human being talk.
Then why is she with him?
Dude, it was weird. It was like one of those things where you're like kind of uncomfortably laughing and like, damn, this bitch hates this guy.
She's not fucking around. She's like really like
can't stand this fella.
So when you guys would hang out, would she like kind of talk shit openly? So like
she would be like passive aggressive with him, but then when he leaves the room, she's launching.
Whoa.
And by that point, because I had known him for a while, by that point it was just really weird.
Yeah,
I was like,
because you're closer to him than her.
I was closer to him than her, and I was like, I don't want to like get in the middle of shit or whatever. Yeah. And then me and him kind of had a falling out because like he did a show. He just, I don't know, dude. He started to change it. He's acknowledged all of this too. I'm not really talking shit on him per se.
At the time, this is what happened.
He changed a lot. Like he got a real big head about stuff, and he would like do like he would like sing on stage and stuff like that. And I remember one time, I just was like, dude, you're just very fake now. I don't really, I don't really. But I was more passive aggressive about it. I was kind of like satirizing him a lot, like on my Instagram and stuff, and like satirizing like the types of people who like face tune their images and shit. Like he was one of the people. Many people were doing it, but he took it very personally that I was doing that at all, and so we kind of had a falling out. And then we see each other like 2 years later at one of the cons, right? And then I was just like, hey, dude, like. He just like sees me, I see him, we have like an awkward exchange in the hallway, and then he's like, hey dude, I'm gonna go to the bar later if you would like to talk. And I was like, yeah dude, because I was like, we need to talk. And then we sit down and I was like, dude, if you and me are gonna be cool, I can't just pretend like I can't like just sit here and just not say anything. So like, yeah, your wife talks the most shit on you like of anybody I've ever heard of my life.
Whoa, damn.
Yeah, and by that point I knew it was okay to say that because he was talking about how things weren't great with him and her.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of like giving a little bit of that, like, it's okay, champ. Like you're probably you're on the right road here. Like I think this is probably a good move. Yeah. Whereas if I did that years prior, it would have been awkward and probably would have like been an inappropriate move. I think
that would have made you guys not cool over that.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that anyway. But for this, because it's kind of like I had a friend who was like cheating on his wife and like. I just refused. I just like said I'm never going to talk to them again. Okay, later, because I found out he was actually doing that. So I'm not going to step in the middle and be like, he's cheating on you. Okay, see you later. You know, like why would I do that? But in this case, he was already feeling this like tug, and I was like, yeah, dude, you're right. Just so you know, you're right. Yeah. Right. And then we were cool after that. And then like, it's kind of weird seeing like this kid Adam McIntyre talk about how, he used to work for Colleen and like. She would message him all the time and she would talk shit all over Josh.
And this boy was like 14 at the time?
He was like 14 years old.
Wow.
And she's talking shit about him in the Weenies group, which just makes so much sense because like I would, like every time all my tuber friends were around her and he left the room, she's like fucking clowning on this guy. It was like wild. It was like so mean too. It was like, man, you really just hate this. This is your husband. You fucking hate this guy. So then this guy Adam McIntyre came out. I think he's a very well-spoken young man. And he came out a couple years ago because Colleen ended up tweeting something from the Miranda Sings account that was about like LGBT like coming out, and she was like, hey, I'm coming out, and then it was a joke at the end. It wasn't like anything serious.
She was joking about coming out?
She was joking about coming out, but it was like I'm coming out like that I like to eat donuts or whatever it was. I think it was a
like
fart
a tongue-in-cheek
joke. I think it was a fart joke or something like that. Yeah. It was a tongue-in-cheek thing. And then she was accused of gay baiting at the time or whatever. And I'm not writing that off. I'm just saying like this is just to get through this story, right? And then so then she comes out and says, "Hey, I apologize and this sucks." And then she blamed this kid Adam because he wrote the tweet, and he's a gay kid himself. And he wrote the tweet. And he was managing her social media for her.
She threw him under the bus?
She threw him under the bus because she was having kids, and she chucked him under the fucking bus. And then, like, he felt alienated. He had no power. He had no leadership.
Even though she had approved that tweet.
She had approved.
Yeah.
She had approved the tweet multiple times, like 4 times, I think. Adam says.
Wow.
He has like. You should watch this video, really, if you want to get caught up on this. I'm doing a truncation of the whole thing. He really goes through the details of like screenshots and all this stuff.
It's a laundry list.
As far as like the grooming accusation, he's basically saying like, anytime that Colleen wanted to talk to me, it was to get something out of me and to use me for something. So he feels like she groomed him because she would like manipulate him, like love bomb him with compliments and praise to get something out of him, and then she would ignore him. And like she would have him like drive, because she would do these tours, and she would have him like drive. He's like living in Ireland, so he's driving like for hours with his parents.
Oh my god!
And then she would say like, "Let's meet up we'll have like a day, we'll fucking hang out." And then like as he's driving for hours with his parents, she's like, "Hey, like, why aren't you here yet? I gotta go. Like, I ordered you food. Like, it's gonna wait here or whatever." And basically, he's saying like, I was always. Like, it always seems like I was her friend, and then when it was time for us to actually do friend things, she would bail on me. So she used me, groomed me, got me to get information for her, got me to attack her ex-husband, because they ended up getting a divorce, because Josh was already feeling that way, and then Josh starts to hear that everyone confirming that she was talking all kinds of shit on him, right? And that all coalesced, and they were already having problems, and it was over, right? So then, and Josh is a very good dude, by the way. I think he made some mistakes with being in those chats. And he's copped all this stuff. He's like, he feels bad that he was in a dark place and he was like opening up about private things to like a bunch of strangers, but he felt like a weird kinship with people. I don't know. Those are his words. And then, not exactly his words, just trying to sum it all up. But yeah, I think, if anybody in this. I really don't have malice for anybody here. I just think that, if you're gonna do what she did for a long time, which is just like talk all kinds of mad shit about like a lot of different things. Apparently she was talking shit on fans too. And like, eventually it will, people will talk to each other and go like, yeah, she did that. Yeah, I was there. Yeah. I was there.
Because even before all of this, like just from mutuals and just from, tubers all talk, right? I already had in my mind that she was a sociopath.
Really?
Yeah, like I forgot, like it was at the main place in Culver, the YouTube space. Some people were talking about it. Some other, man, it was just bits and pieces throughout time. And I'm all like, what's crazy? It's always these wholesome, like, they have a kid audience, or like something is like you would never fucking expect them to being like absolute sociopaths, and like people expect us to be these drug addict fucking wild cowboy ass rock stars, and in real life we're like the complete opposites.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, ever since I got into that space, like YouTube and just knowing these folks, I was just like, fuck, dude, like, it's crazy. And then I don't have any way to confirm it, but now everything's coming out and it's like, karma's a bitch. Let's go.
What do you think of her apology video?
Oh my god, what a fucking nightmare. Well, first of all, so her apology video, she gets a ukulele out and she sings a song.
She sings the apology?
And deflects, doesn't address anything, she just says it's all lies and like wiggles her way around it.
It's like 10 minutes long.
That guy, Adam McIntyre, is he the only one that got groomed, or he's just one of the many?
He's one of many. Many kids are coming out now saying the same shit. Many now adults are coming out saying the same shit.
But does she have an audience still? Because I remember back,
She's on tour right now, I think.
Oh.
Through and is like mainstream, right?
Yeah.
Really?
She was in a Pixar movie for a sec.
Netflix thing too.
She had a Netflix show.
She was in a Pixar movie?
She was like, for a minute, I think in Wreck-It Ralph 2, I think.
Really?
She's in that for a sec, but yeah. Yeah, it was a big deal. For a tuber, that's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, she's done very well for herself. Like, I was at her house when she was with her husband, and they had a fucking killer house. Pretty sure she still lives there. Like, it was nice. And it's in LA.
So she's saying an apology?
She's saying an apology with a uke. And then...
That's so
accusations.
That's so early YouTube.
But it wasn't an apology. It was like a defense thing.
And the accusations are her being
using kids,
sexual with kids,
being sexual kids,
just inappropriate,
using kids to attack her ex-husband. So like she sent like little brigades to like flood his Twitter account, make him feel real bad about himself. I saw a lot of that.
Really?
Insane. Yeah.
And she was
How often? I mean, how recent is this that it went down?
Her which part?
Like her fucking.
Her going down is like right now.
Okay, but what about her?
That was 5 years ago, I think.
The divorce.
Divorce was 5 years ago. Yeah. And then
And then the grooming of the kids has been going on since.
apparently throughout the whole thing. Yeah.
who knows how.
And how is she grooming? Did she have like? Is there accusations of her having relationships with these kids and
No,
like?
No.
it's very not that. It's more manipulative. It's not like sexual grooming. per se.
Psyops. Like I love dump. You do all these things for me. I'm not your friend anymore.
So she's
And not just that,
basically,
but she'll tell him like, she told Adam McIntyre, she's like, hey, like, I'm thinking about turning you into my social media manager. Why don't you keep working for me for free? Which apparently he'd already been doing that, sending her ideas and all kinds of stuff. And he was just excited. She's his favorite person in the world and stuff like that. And then so she's like, I'm considering you right now for my social media intern. So I want you to take over my Twitter account. So that's when he posted that thing, and then she fucking blames him. Also, she has this friend who I think I can speak for quite a few tubers that I know. He's one of the meanest people I've ever met. His name's Corey. And
Oh, that's the other dude
that's
in this
the other
whole
dude
shit,
in this
right?
thing.
Oh.
Yeah. He's one of the meanest motherfuckers I've ever met.
Really?
And that's why they're such good like friends, I think. Like they just have that same love language of like, let's just talk shit on everything.
Like theater bitch. kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of shit. So, I don't think I'm speaking out of school there. I don't think that people are like, what a nice guy. I think it's pretty known in the space.
Because apparently they would, if a kid was out of line and disagreeing with their shit, they would use other kids to bully that kid. So it didn't look like they were doing it.
They got an army of children.
Yeah,
dude.
it's fucking weird.
How old? Are they our age? They're like in their 40s and shit.
They're like, she's like our age.
30s.
Yeah,
Late
38.
30s. Yeah.
Definitely too old to be playing with these kids like that.
Yeah, and sending them underwear is weird, right?
Yeah.
But I get like the people are like, she took pictures with kids and they're all holding up tampons. I'm like, that I don't know, dude. Like, sometimes in the search to hunt someone down, you just take everything and go, that's evidence too, and it's like, that's not really your point, is it? Is that really your point? Yeah. Like you already made really good points. You don't have to like fire off every single piece of salvo that you have.
Right. That's the hard part about listening to this coverage is people list a million things because they're trying to like surround you with like anywhere you look, it's bad.
The preponderance.
But
of
it's like,
evidence is so overwhelming.
one of these is bad.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
And it's enough, and it's fine, but you don't have to do all that shit.
Right.
You don't have
It's
to,
almost distracting from
Did it
how
dilute?
bad it is. Yeah.
Well, and I honestly think too, and no insult to Adam at all. I really do think that this thing was kind of dying down, actually. Like, as far as like the amount of people who were talking about it, it was kind of on its way of like, you ever just milk a story so fucking hard that there's no other angles left to cover and it's over?
Yeah.
Like the fucking Titanic submarine, right?
Yeah.
Like with this story, it was over, and then she did this ukulele video, and now it went viral, but beyond anything I've ever seen.
Wow. So she could have just ended it.
I honestly think it was like on death's door, almost, and I don't
Right.
know that,
Yeah.
but like I think
seemed like
I think a month from then, like nobody can really keep milking that fucking titty, right? So I think it was pretty much on the way out.
And then when she makes an apology like that, it makes her show like it shows that she's really out of touch.
And it becomes like not just any apology. It's like the most parodied apology video I've ever seen now. Everyone's out
It's
there
probably
doing
the
bits.
worst example of a response, not
Yeah.
even an apology.
And then is that when the
She says it's all lies, basically.
and then is that when the kid came out and made a video detailing with receipts after the
Yeah.
apology?
No, before. Before she did the ukulele video, he has been turning up the heat because somebody else kind of brought all this back up to the surface, and then he gave really important context clues about what the fuck was going on the whole time from years ago, where he basically got run off the internet by a bunch of the weenies and Colleen fans because they basically said he is now an enemy of the state.
It sounds like you're saying your name.
Every time he says her name, I'm like,
I'm sorry.
how do you
It's
spell-
Colleen,
oh, wait,
though.
It's Colleen, right?
That was one
Yeah,
of the first.
She spells it
Oh,
like
God,
Colleen. Yeah.
Colleen. Okay, not even close to me.
K-L-Y-N-E.
Yeah.
So when you heard about all this, none of it sounds surprising to you.
I didn't even blink. Oh, the only thing I blinked about was the kid stuff. Because I had no idea about the chat stuff. I knew that she had a fan base that was really, what do you call it? Like, they loved any rumor they could find of anything. They
Oh,
loved
okay,
the
yeah, of course. Yeah.
dramas, right?
Right.
And who doesn't love the dramas, right?
Sure.
But they were like, every little thing, blow it up into a big thing, and then, like, the truth is all the way over here. So like, because I was inside of a lot of that stuff, like as far as like just knowing basic shit about what was going on with them, and like they would be over here like with wild shit that doesn't make any sense, but then they almost have like pieces of the truth, and they're like running with it in
but it's
weird
just
directions.
too fun over there.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's hard.
The truth was way more fucked up though.
If I was a kid, I'd done the same shit because it's fun to like run with it. But
but they were like saying stuff like Colleen loves Josh more than anything in the world. Like I don't know why. Like they would even
like
get divorced, like
that.
stuff like that. And you're like,
right,
brother.
and you're over here like,
I'm like, no,
fucking
bitch.
kidding?
I'm like the fucking lady at the casino with a cigarette. And I'm like, oh honey, I'm just fucking here till I die. Like the world is bleak and dark. You have no idea.
So you've never known her as anything other than like she's just a general asshole.
No. So when I first met her, she was just normal. The fame totally changed her, dude. Like she was normal and nice and like probably like I really do believe. I think you believe this too, where you're probably the same person, and then you get power, and then you show us who you really are.
Yep.
But she was very cool, and I thought she was funny, and like, yeah, I don't know. It's really tough when you're looking at something like this, and people are just like everyone firing every arrow they have at her. Like, it gets tough because I know more of the full person. Can't say I've known her for years now, but the person that I knew in the beginning, I really did like her. Like I didn't just hang out with her because it was fun.
Yeah.
Like it didn't do anything for my YouTube career to hang out with her. We were just hanging out with each other. Like she was just a really cool person, and most importantly, my buddy Josh was really cool. Like a super good dude, honest with you. He has like a southern thing because he's from the South and shit, and my mom's from the South, so me and him got on pretty quick, and yeah, just a real guy. And then I was really disappointed to see like how the fame changes people. It's happened a couple times. I've been in the tube space for a while. I've seen it happen quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it was the way that they changed and became like better than in that negative space, right? Where it's like, you know, like a fan comes up and they're like nervous or something, and then the fan leaves and they're like, and she's like doing a bit about it or whatever. Like stuff like that is like, you know, where it's like, I guess, you know, maybe she's just relieving awkward tension and just like trying to be like, see, I don't think I'm that cool or whatever, but it was just weird, right? You're just like, this is weird. And I can't say she's shit on every fan she saw, and like, that's kind of what's happening right now, unfortunately, in this particular story. They're like, she hated all of her fans, the truth is like this, and it's nah, sometimes like, you really do meet an awkward fan, and then afterward you have to joke about it to release the tension.
Oh yeah.
And don't you think like most people always pin extremes?
Yeah.
Like it's just like that's what you're gonna run with regardless.
Exactly.
Especially when you're trying to like paint a narrative, it's like it's got to be the extremes.
Also, in situations like this, everyone likes to round up to the extreme.
Of course.
Like this one's pure
Absolutely.
evil.
Like, if you could do this, you could certainly do this.
Right. But what do you think, like, so with this out and with people finally, like, kind of believing it, what gets taken away from her at all? Like, at this point?
Honestly, so I guess a bunch of, you know, one
Sponsors?
of the sponsors have left and stuff like that, and that's always like a weird thing anyways, because yeah, we all know that they're just there to sell
Canceling
products
just
anyway.
doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. So what really happens is I think she, you know, is gonna have that pit in her stomach for a couple months, and then, you know, eventually she'll just keep on doing stuff.
Because she didn't actually break the law in any way, huh?
I mean, if her followers keep following, like, what's the real difference? It's just people outside coming in talking shit.
But yeah, but people are doing this thing too where I just think that this story has gone on long enough where people are really doing that thing of like, law enforcement do something, YouTube do something. Like, and it's like, that's not what this actually is. This is totally,
Right.
This is totally in the more in the realm of like the public space and like
Her fans.
her fans. Yeah. Because like, what is illegal about what she did per se? I also think that, and I don't really want to beat up on. I don't think that this kid Adam McIntyre's parents are going to see this, but like, your parents are really to blame a lot for
that's
you
honestly what I
talking
said,
to this woman, like for as long as you did.
Like talking to a fucking adult at that age.
Involved.
Yeah.
And one of his things is he wants an apology from Colleen, and he wants an apology from Colleen to his parents. But it's like, dude, your parents.
It's the other way around.
Your parents are she shouldn't. Her parents shouldn't apologize to Colleen, but her parents should be apologizing to Adam.
Yeah. I 100%
His parents,
believe that.
his parents should be apologizing to Adam because you're a young kid. Everything that he's saying, I was 14. Yeah, dude, where are your parents? Why aren't they trying to get you off of this?
How are they
phone
not
thing?
monitoring how you communicate?
I mean, that's wild to me.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And I think that that's gone missing in a lot of this too. Not to beat up on this kid. He's a really well-spoken kid. I really do think that
How old is he now?
he's 20, early 20s.
He is really well spoken, but
Really
also,
well-spoken.
but also with that approach that like and how enamored he was with her, he's pretty lucky that it wasn't a more predatory person.
Yeah.
Because like we learned in the '90s because of Michael Jackson. Honestly, our parents were like, "You see what happens? You get too close to someone you idolize. This could happen." And that was that. Michael Jackson was the example. So like we grew up knowing.
My parents were like, that's your mentor? Do whatever the fuck he says.